Can Agile be used by parents to help their kids do their chores? Yes, it can. Stick around to find out how. Okay, so Agile is not just about software development, folks. It's also not just about getting products built in workplaces and so forth or project management. We brought it home. This is going back roughly 10 years. My son was 11 and my daughter was 8, and they were sloppy. Maybe you've got kids that are slobs. We certainly did. And I was starting to get concerned because my wife and I were both getting burned out on picking up after our kids. And we also didn't really like the precedent we were setting here that it was okay to be sloppy. So we wanted to break those habits. And at that point, I knew quite a bit about Agile and all of the frameworks underneath it, Scrum, Kanban, extreme programming, etc. And I thought, I wonder if I can utilize those things to help us rewire the kids a little bit. So what we decided to do was bring Agile and Scrum and Kanban into the home to use it as a tool to help the kids manage their chores, or more accurately, help us manage them and manage their chores. So before I get too far into this, I just want to let you know that there's going to be a free gift for you at the end of this video. sustainedagility.com/parenting. There's a gift there for you. It's the template that we used to bring Agile, Scrum, and Kanban into our home and help the kids use that as a tool to manage their chores. Now back to the video. So once we decided we're going to do this, we had to decide who was going to handle what role. My wife was the product owner. I was the Scrum Master, and my kids are going to be the developers in this case. Now, my wife and I sat down and I shared with her what I was thinking, wanted to make sure I had her buy-in, and she was a little hesitant just because she didn't really understand the process yet, so I had to do a little education to get her up to speed on what this stuff was. And I think once she heard all of the benefits that were potential benefits, she got enthusiastic about it and we started to do it. One big thing we agreed on was we're not going to micromanage the kids. One of the things we want them to get out of this is this idea that they can manage themselves, and that if they become reliant on us to manage them, when they have nothing to do, they'll sit around and wait to be told what to do. We wanted to start to breed this proactivity notion. So we decided no micromanagement. We put a Kanban board in the kitchen. I bought some of that white contact paper that has adhesive on the back, and I put it up on the kitchen wall. And we bought some blue tape and put some columns and some rows in this board. And here's the structure we decided on. The first column is labeled stuff to do. That's your product backlog if you're equating this to Scrum. Column number 2 is labeled I'm working on it. When kids would take items from the product backlog and start working on it, they'd grab a Post-it and put it into the second column indicating they're working on it. And column 2 had a WIP limit on it of 2. WIP limits are, for those of you who don't know, a work in process limit, and we decided 2 kids, that means we only want them working on one thing at a time. The most you can have in column 2 are 2 Post-it notes. We divided column 2 in half. The bottom half of the column was labeled I'm stuck, I need help. And of course, as the Scrum Master, my job is when there's an impediment, I jump in and fix it. So an example would be one of the chores is wash the windows, and the kid goes to try to do it and realizes we're out of Windex. Put the Post-it in I'm stuck, I need help, and that's my cue as dad to go out and get some Windex so the kids are unimpeded. Column 3 was labeled I think I'm done. And that is as far as the kids were allowed to move Post-its. I think I'm done. The fourth column, the final column on the board, was labeled Mom says I'm done. And she's the only one allowed to move Post-its from the third column into the final column. And the only way she's going to do that is she takes the Post-it, turns it over, and looks at the acceptance criteria, and then goes and inspects the work. And if the work isn't done, she puts the Post-it right back into the product backlog, and the kid's got to finish it. Now, the key here is, as soon as a Post-it goes from the third column to the fourth column, the kid gets paid for the chore. How much is the chore worth? The product owner decides that and writes the dollar figure right in the upper right-hand corner of the Post-it note, so the kid knows right away how much each chore is worth. And we decided as a team, my wife and I, that the least desirable chores were going to be worth the most money. So our sprint structure worked like this. Sunday night was sprint planning, and we decided 1 week sprints were good for what we were trying to do. Sunday night is sprint planning. My wife introduced the work for the week. The kids get a chance to ask any questions they want for clarity. The Post-its are all populated with the chore on the front, the acceptance criteria on the back, and the dollar figure in the upper right, and then Mom and I step away. Kids now decide what they're going to do in what order, and work starts moving in. We decided to do daily scrums every 3 times a week. 3 times a week. I believe it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. We couldn't do it every day because of various things like homework and sporting team schedules and so forth. We kept it within reason. 3 times a week for us made sense. And of course, all of us attended, but the kids just updated each other on what they've done so far, what they're planning on doing next. And sometimes they would even partner on chores, because what they realized is, yes, you make less per person, but the chores get done faster, which means you can probably get more done during that week and make more money in general. On Saturday, when we had our last day of our sprint, the final remaining chores would get finished, and then we would do a review and a retrospective. And the retrospective was attended by all, and we would just talk very briefly what worked for us this sprint, what do we think we could do better to get better results next sprint. And the kids really led that process and came up with some pretty ingenuitive ideas, which was great. Now, one of the things that made me feel like we were really onto something here was there was one day we were several sprints into the process, and there was a chore to clean the downstairs bathroom. Nobody likes to clean bathrooms. The chore was a $10 chore because, again, least desirable chores, more money. And my 2 kids were arguing over who gets to clean the downstairs bathroom. When I saw that, I thought, oh my goodness, we have stumbled onto something here. This is insane. Who is going to argue over who gets to clean a bathroom? Well, we just created that environment. So that was some of the benefits that were reaped from this process. In addition, we decided to add another layer to this after a few sprints. I wanted to start to instill in the kids the value of goal setting. And what we decided to do was put little burn-up charts just to the right of our Kanban board in the kitchen and ask each kid what their financial goals were in this process. Was it that you wanted to save up for something specific and you knew how much it cost, or was it because you wanted to build your savings to a certain level? So these burn-up charts tracked their progress against the goals they set for themselves, and we would update it at the end of every single sprint. Now, what this did was give them focus on some outcome that they wanted for themselves, and then of course, when they achieved their goals, they got to understand the euphoria of what it means to achieve a goal. So out of this process, self-management, work ethic, value of a dollar, goal setting, achieving goals, and not just self-management, but in some cases working as a team. So a lot of great life lessons were being instilled completely by the process and by the mindset. I'd love to take credit for it, but I really think it was Agile and Scrum and Kanban that did the heavy lifting. Now, where are my kids now? They're 21 and 19. My son's almost 22. He is entrenched in his career, doing great, has a great job with a great company, and just recently got a big bonus. And he's on track to continue to do great things. He's got a great savings account. He's putting money away into retirement early. He's right on course for a very successful life. My daughter just finished her first year at a very prestigious nursing school, and she might want to go on to become a doctor. It's in the formulation stage, but she's definitely going to be a nurse. And she's doing great as well and made Dean's List in her freshman year. I don't believe these things are coincidental. I believe that this process that I'm describing here had a little to do with it, if not more than a little to do with it. So we're very impressed with the process and very happy about the results. Also, clean house and happy wife. So that all being said, here is once again the free gift for you, sustainedagility.com/parenting. I'll also put that link in the description. This is the template we used. It will guide you right through this if you want to try this with your kids. My only ask is that you tell us how it goes. My mission in this YouTube channel is to spread information, to spread education about Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and all the other frameworks that go with it, Lean, etc., so that we can really help improve not just the world of work, but maybe even beyond that. So if you would, big favor I'm asking, please like this video, please subscribe to the channel, and please share this with anybody that you think might benefit from it, because again, the goal is to spread education. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it valuable.